but I want to be strong to fight for the rights for every one of us as indigenous people. Okay, I would like to tell Pope that there he is the one to carry my message, and I have to be present with them. My voice have to be present with them, so that we are indigenous people. We are people have been discovered the world, I think, before the outsiders, and our life is very important for us, just like how your life is. We have our traditional things that how we must live. I feel like I'm an independent for myself, that God gave my life. And God gave us life in different ways of live on this earth, but it is a gift. But now, I would like the whole world to hear us as indigenous people, that we must be respected by the outsider. We must have the right of our lands, and also our customary lands, as my sister said. We are fishermen, we are hunters. We want those lands, and we don't want that land to be destroyed by the miners. Because we're looking at most of the time is money. But I don't know what they just do with that money, what they're gaining from the earth. But we know we just keep our land protected by us. We educated to use our things in the right way, not to damage, but a limit. But in some ways, I'm not standing here to point my hand to someone else, but they're supposed to be stopped to destroy this world. They are human. I am, why I could say for talk openly, most of the people look at us as a lower class, but we are not. So I don't want this thing to happen anymore. We have right. Every human being on earth must have right on traditional way, how they were living, they're living. You must respect that. We are one. We must live as one. The Spirit of God has been spread for 100 years ago. How we must live, to be united, to respect one another, one another's lives, how the way of the living. So, brothers and sisters, I stand here to tell the Pope, I want to have my rights on my lands, on my cultures, on my language. I want to be indigenous. Thank you very much.
The previous testimony touches our heart. I am very grateful for this appeal to get moving and walk together. And I want to read an extract from Laudato Si, which I know a document does not solve things, but it is an appeal for all of the church coming from Pope Francis as an invitation for the future. And he says about you, indigenous communities, Amerindian communities. In this sense, it is essential to show special care for indigenous communities and their cultural traditions. They are not merely one minority among another, but should be the principal dialogue partners, especially when large projects affecting their land are proposed. For them, land is not a commodity, but rather a gift from God, and from their ancestors who rest there. A sacred space with which they need to interact if they are to maintain their identity and value. When they remain on their land, they themselves care for it best. Nevertheless, in various parts of the world, pressure is being put on them to abandon their homelands, to make room for agricultural or mining projects which are undertaken without regard for the degradation of nature and culture. We are hoping that this appeal from you, which is also interpreted by Pope Francis as an invitation, but rather an appeal to all of us, really touches our hearts. I want to thank Bishop Francis and Father Paul, because we've had the chance as REPAM to start working together with Mike McCormack, who was mentioned before, in the Human Rights Center here in Guyana. And we're trying to bring also the voices in one side into the Synod, to the Pope, but also to the international organizations who are there to protect the human rights. REPAM is bringing a report to the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights together with the persons that you know, Mike McCormack and also the church, to bring them there and try to really make space for your voices to be heard. So we hope that this is not only a beautiful and challenging, compelling paragraph, but it is for REPAM. REPAM does this service to the Synod, but we are not only that. We are trying to accompany the realities in the Christ. So what we hear in these days, we will also try to bring it. And that's why I was mentioning Susanna here. She's working on a mapping, getting a lot of the information so we can understand better what's happening. And REPAM, what tries to do is to bridge, to build bridges between realities so your voices can be heard. Because we go around the Amazon, everywhere we hear this cry. And it's a very sorrowful experience not to be able to respond. But be sure that healing, accompanying, and hearing your reality, this is part of the mission of the church, but also advocating. This invitation to advocate, I feel these days, in the past years, the church is really working very hard to advocate for your rights too. Because, as it's been said in the social teaching of the church, this protection of your dignity and your rights is part of our mission too. Not the only one, but a very important one too.